and welcome to an exciting edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ryan, your host, and I want to take you back to the time, and I want to go back to the 1980s. Picture yourself in the summer of 85. What movies do you think in the summer of 85? View to Kill? Black Cauldron? Silverado? Back to the Future? The movie I want to talk about is a movie that came out roughly before that summer. And this came out around May of 85. This movie stars Chevy Chase, Joe Baker, Diane Wheeler Nicholson, Richard Lieberton, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, alongside Tim Medicine, Fletch. I am watching the Jane Doe edition. That is the special edition that came out in 2005. So yeah, Fletch is a movie. It is actually based on a book. It's based on a book by Gregory MacDonald, and it was written in 1974. So yeah, Fletch was released in the 80s, based on a book from the early 70s. So what did I think of Fletch as a film? Well, I had this movie before my collection. I bought it at Closing Down Blockbuster. I watched it once, and I thought it was okay. That was my first viewing. This is my second viewing, and I actually think it's still okay. This movie is actually pretty fun. This is a fun okay. Now, if you haven't heard about Fletch, the movie stars Chevy Chase. He plays the name Irwin Fletcher. Fletcherson? No, Fletcher. Yeah, Irwin Fletcher. But yeah. And basically, he's sort of an investigator, but he goes around disguising as a bunch of these bunch of these people. So he'll be a doctor. He'll play a Lakers basketball player. He'll play a monk, I do believe. And, excuse me, guys, sorry about that. But he'll play a monk. He plays an aviator guy. He disguises pretty much everything. Sorry about that, guys. I do apologize if I did that. Some was my nose. But anyways, so basically he goes around. Yeah, he's a newspaper reporter. I'm gonna put this down right here. So yeah, so Fletch, he basically, it's really hard to explain. It's like a bunch of different characters and different stories. The movie's directed by Michael Ritchie and is actually written by, I just knew the name, Andrew Bergman. Yeah. It's a Michael Ritchie movie written by Andrew Bergman, and basically, Fletch is a character that I feel like he's. Hang on, guys. I do apologize if I'm mumbling, but he's an investigator, but like a newspaper reporter. So he basically tries to track down a guy named Skyler, I think it is. Stanwyck. Yeah, Tim Medicine plays Stanwyck. He's the guy that Chevy Chase is trying to track down, and alongside is another guy who's like a cop, portrayed by Joe Baker. So he gets arrested, and he goes by these different disguises. Emmett Walsh plays a doctor, and the funny line, I love the fact that now he has to go by a bunch of... Sorry about that, guys, again. He has to go by a bunch of these different names. So when he talks to his doctor, he says, "My name is William Babar." And the doctor's like, "Babar? You know, there was a children's book series about an elephant named Babar." And that is true. But yeah, it's interesting how, like, he disguised different names. So there's a scene where he late in the film, he basically plays, I think he plays a pilot or guy that fixes planes. So he meets up with the guy, oddly enough, who also was the same guy who had a cameo in Back to the Future Part 3 as a cowboy guy. I think his name is Burton. I can't think of his name, but he was the cowboy in Blazing Saddles. So he plays the other pilot that he discovers. Hang on, guys. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully the last time I'll do that. I do apologize. So, yeah, he plays that type of guy. So, yeah, it's crazy. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Lakers great. He basically plays a guy who plays Fletch as a basketball player. So he's a basketball player, but he's like a really good player. He's a big fan of the Lakers. George Wendt from Cheers appears. He's at the very beginning of the film. He plays a guy that he's like a beach bum who hangs out at the beach that Fletch meets up. Okay, so I think I talked most about what I think. What did I think of Fletch in a whole? Well, I think it's just okay. It's not a bad movie. I was very entertained with the film. It's definitely pure 80s because there's some 80s synth and techno. The guy that scored did an awesome job. So that's really, really good. So basically there's a scene where Fletch is like meets a kid and he just literally goes in the car and they go for a good old Sunday drive. He goes the speed limit while the cops are chasing him and the kid's like freaking out. He's like, he's driving, he's like, oh shit! And then he's like freaking out. He's like, do you have a license? Yeah, I have a license, but I forgot it. So they're trying to get away from the cops and it just becomes a big like, sort of like chase picture. But that's a ton of fun. The movie is, in whole, is a okay fun. It's a fun movie, but it's sort of in that middle tier that I think is really good. Chevy Chase is great. Oh, I forgot to mention Gina Davis is in it. She plays the assistant reporter with Fletch. So I forgot he mentioned she's in it as well. And the whole is a great cast. I got to give Michael Ritchie credit. Michael Ritchie was the director who's done a lot of really good movies. He's made a lot of movies in the 60s, but his claim to fame was the 1976 comedy Bad News Bears. He would go on to make, in the 80s, he'll go on to make The Survivors. He made another Universal film prior to this, The Island, with Michael Caine. I don't have that movie, but I do want to check it out. So he made that for this studio. And his final movie, the final movie he made, and the last movie he made for the studio, and the last movie of his career was 1997's A Simple Wish. So, yeah, that was his last movie. But sad about it is Michael Ritchie, he passed on many years way too young, they said. I think he was in his 50s, I believe. So, yeah, talk about a talented director. I think he nailed it apart. I think this is a lot. From what I've from what I watched the featurettes, there are a couple featurettes in it, that stuff. I watched some of the behind the scenes, and originally Andrew Bergman wanted to make this movie for Chevy Chase. It's a movie that he was an SNL star, and he wanted to do a bunch of skits with different characters. So that's really the gist about Fletch that I think it's good. I didn't really talk much about it. It's kind of confusing, but I will easily say this. I didn't enjoy the first half of the film. It didn't make me laugh. But right when it got to the second half of the film, right when Fletch is in the car driving with the kid and they're speeding down the highway, that's when I think it really picks up. The ending is very solid. There is a sequel, Fletch Lives. I don't have that movie, but if I do get it, if I do buy it, we'll check it out eventually. But for now, as a Fletch, I'm going to recommend it. I think the movie is fun for what it is. It's not for everybody. It's just okay, but it's an okay keep in my opinion. So I'm going to keep Fletch, and yeah. So yeah, let's rate the movie. I'm going to give Fletch a 3 out of 5. It's fun for what it is. I think if you like Chevy Chase as an actor and him doing different things with it, check the movie out. Hopefully maybe the sequel might be better. I heard the sequel, from what I've read about it, is sort of take on Gone with the Wind. So I'm looking forward to checking out Fletch Lives if I do get around checking it out. So yeah, just go check out Fletch. If you like what I said, let me know what you think of Fletch. So yeah, so that's a review of Fletch. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the content on the channel, you can check out all my other stuff. I have plenty of reviews. I'm on Letterboxd. You can subscribe to the channel. Click the subscribe. Ring the bell. Let me know what you think of this film. Like I said, comment if you want to. But yeah. Yeah, I don't really have much to say, and yeah, go check out Fletch. Yeah. But I'm on Letterboxd, so you guys can check me out there. So, yeah. So, I'm going to bid you good night. And as always, keep watching those Universal movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.